56 minutes now after the hour. Welcome back to the most news in the morning. As a candidate, then Senator Obama pledged to make a lot of changes. And after 51 days in office, we wanted to see whether he's sticking to those promises. We turn now to the founder of PolitiFact.com, Bill Adair, back again with his Truth-O-Meter and the Obameter this morning. Good to see you, Bill. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, John.
So you ran the first 50 days through the Obameter in terms of promises kept, promises not kept. How did he do?
Yeah, I guess we would call this our halftime score, halfway through 100 days. He had 17 promises kept so far and 2 broken. I think the 17 is a pretty substantial start, but it's important to recognize these are the low-hanging fruit. These include many things that he was able to do simply by executive order. And so the really challenging ones are still to come because he's got to get approval from Congress.
But it is an indication, though, is it not, Bill, that many people think that politicians just get out there in the campaign trail to say anything to get elected. But the truth behind it is that, yeah, they do promise these things, and then they try to make good on those promises by and large.
Absolutely, and many of the promises, we have about 513 promises in our Obameter database, and many of them are ones that we got from Obama's transition website, where he actually identified his campaign promises and said, I'm going to keep these. And but many of them include things that he doesn't have any control over, and so it'll be interesting for us to watch those in coming months.
And I know you'll continue to run all that through the Obameter. Let's flip to the Truth-O-Meter now and run a statement by Republican Senator Tom Coburn of Oklahoma through it. He was talking about the president's health care plan on Fox News. Here's what he said, quote, under the Obama plan, all the health care in this country is eventually going to be run by the government. What did the Truth-O-Meter say about that one?
Truth-O-Meter gave that one a false. And it probably sounds familiar. We heard this during the campaign. McCain and some of his surrogates made similar points about Obama's health plan. And the problem is it's just not true. Obama's health plan relies on the private health insurance system for the most part, but then seeks to expand coverage using government programs like Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program. So that one gets a false on the Truth-O-Meter.
All right, so we ran a Republican statement through the Truth-O-Meter. We also want to run a liberal statement through the Truth-O-Meter. This one by the Americans United for Change, a new advertisement in which they suggest that Rush Limbaugh is the leader of the Republican Party. They talk about the president's stimulus plan, and they say, quote, Republican leaders said no to tax cuts for 95% of working Americans. What did the Truth-O-Meter say about that?
The Truth-O-Meter gave that one a barely true. And it's a funny ad. It's set to a kind of a can-can musical thing where Republican voices come in and say no, no, no. And it is true that they did vote against the economic stimulus bill. As we know, in the House in particular, there were no Republicans who voted for it. But it's not like Republicans voted against tax cuts. Quite to the contrary. The Republican alternatives were all about tax cuts, broad tax cuts that were even much more sweeping than what was included in the economic stimulus bill. So that one gets a barely true on the Truth-O-Meter.
Bill Adair from PolitiFact this morning. It's great to check in with you. We will see you again very soon, my friend.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Karen.
Coming up on 7 o'clock here in New York, a look at the most important stories of the day.